Hey everyone, Sarah Knight here again, and this video is all about cleanup. So you've probably heard David Liss say, that the migration there's just messy components of it that are not things that we could avoid. So there is some cleanup with your mail labels, with your contacts, and then calendar. So I'm going to go over all of those in this video. The first thing I want to go over is labels in your Gmail. So in the previous video that I did on Gmail, I talked about how when the migration pulled over your folders from Outlook, it came over as _inbox, and then all of your folders came over as subfolders of that. So it just looks like it did in Outlook, only it's called _inbox. All of those subfolders need to be unnested from this _inbox and made as labels in Gmail. So I'm going to click on, let me back up because I need to say one more thing. If you already unnested any of these subfolders at any point before Monday of this week, it is likely that the migration tool ran again, because it ran about 3 to 5 times over the last several weeks. And as it got to your name each time, it pulled over more items. So you might have some duplicate labels in your Gmail, which is no problem. You'll just want to look at that and see which one you can remove. Alright, so in my _inbox label, I'm going to click on all of these, and I'm just going to start unnesting them so that they become a label that is on their own. So I'm going to go to Andy. Andy's a technician. Hey Andy, if you're watching this video, and I'm going to click on the arrow beside his name, and I'm going to edit that label. As you can see, it's the checkbox by nest label under _inbox is selected. I'm going to deselect that now and save. And now you'll see that my Andy label is no longer under the _inbox. It is actually now a label on its own. I'm going to have to do that to every subfolder that is listed under that _inbox. It will take me a lot of time. When I'm finished with that, then I can delete this _inbox, but I'm not going to do that until all of those subfolders have been unnested. You will also notice that in the migration that some labels came over that you may not recognize. One of them I had was called root folder. Another one that I had that generally everyone will have is _outbox. All of those, you just need to select them, check to see if there's any mail saved in those labels. If not, you can go to that label. I'm going to go to Notes, drop down the menu, and you can remove the label. So, this will take some minutes or, a half hour or so, depending on how many folders you had in Outlook. I have a lot of folders because I have to refer back to emails from a lot of different people. You may not have that many folders that came over as labels. So just depending on how many folders you have that came over as labels in Google, it'll just determine how much time that takes to unnest them from that _inbox, and then when you're finished unnesting, deleting that _inbox label. So that's the cleanup on email for now, and then I'm going to move on to contacts and talk about that next. Alright, so contacts. Every person that you ever had any contact with in your Exchange account came over as a contact. And the interesting thing about that is you may have multiple contacts for individuals. And there's just some cleanup, again, that has to be done in contacts. Is this something that you have to do right this moment? Absolutely not. I'm just giving you information so that when you want to do this, if ever, you can go in and you can clean your contacts up. You can see that I have 364 contacts. I have worked on this a bit, and that when you're looking at your contacts, you can go into settings and you can maximize how many you see at once. The maximum is 250. If you have more than that, these arrows at the top allow you to go to the next page of contacts. So a couple of things you'll experience are that maybe a contact does not have an actual title. So this one for Allison Moore. @nexusstudents.net. I don't need that address anymore because that alias no longer exists. So I'm going to just delete that contact. And I'm going to select it and then go to More and Delete Contact. Alright, so you can see that that contact for Allison Moore is now gone from my contacts. Now, I cannot replicate every situation that you might run into with your contacts without divulging other personal information of my contacts, but I can tell you a couple of things. You may have some contacts that don't have a name label, or a name title, I should say. You can click on that contact and add in the name. So Amy Thompson. Alright, and then I can click off of that and go back. And you'll see now that because I put in her first name and then her last name, which is not how my contacts are organized right now, it will put her further down the list. nexusstudents.net for the staff, those accounts, those aliases, you'll remember went away, so you can delete any of those nexusstudents.net accounts for staff members. Other than that, you may have duplicate contacts for some reason. You can just, let's just say that these are both duplicate contacts. So let's say they're both for Kelly Bell. You can click both of them and go to Merge Contacts. And then you can also delete contacts from this menu as well. So if you've got duplicate contacts for an individual, you can select them both, and then I'm just going to click them again, go to More, Merge Contacts. If you have contacts that don't have the name title, you can click that and add it. Or if you just have contacts you don't need anymore, just go through and select the box beside the name and then go to More and Delete Contacts. So there is some cleanup involved, and you'll notice that some of my contacts, are in certain labels or groups in contacts, and that's fine too. You can go ahead and organize them how you see fit. But just know that anytime you had an email contact with someone in Outlook, it brought that over as a contact. So you may have a person twice, you may have multiple contact information for a certain individual. So maybe you emailed them at a personal account and a school account, and maybe you have their cell phone number. You can select all of those and merge them into one, and then you will have your contacts cleaned up. Alright, so then the last place you're going to look to clean up is your calendar. And I'm in my calendar right now, and I'm not one of those people who has duplicate events on my calendar, but it's possible that you might. So if you're on your personal calendar and you've got all of these events up, it's possible that in the migration you have duplicate events. There's a couple of things to check there. If it's a single entry event, it doesn't matter which of the duplicate you remove from your calendar. But if it's a reoccurring event, you want to look at the top to see which one is the reoccurring event. Another thing to consider is don't delete any duplicate events that have invitations on them, because then it will cancel that event essentially and say either that you're not going or that the event is completely canceled for all guests involved. So if you have duplicate entries on your calendar, just be mindful of those things. So that really is all in terms of cleaning up your Google Apps. I went through how to unnest your subfolders and in email, and then we looked at cleaning up contacts. Again, I couldn't scroll through my contacts without divulging other individuals' personal information. So I kind of talked through that, and then the last thing was calendar, and just make sure that you clean up any duplicate or double entries of events. If you have any questions about any aspect of cleaning up any of your Google Apps, please post them to that Google form and look for answers to those questions on this sheet associated with that form. I hope this is helpful to you. Again, these are all things that don't have to be done right away. It's just something that you might do if you want, less contacts, or that you want your labels in your email to be better organized. So it's a completely personal preference on when and how you clean up these apps, but that's this video that's the purpose, is to show you those things that you'll need to clean up from the migration. Have a great week.